Power. I need power. Thank you, my love. So, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. So, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about territory, the non-dual quality of territory. What the heck is the non-dual quality of territory? What is that about? So, if we look at the non-dual quality of territory, we are talking about individuals, about humans, and of course also about animals. But let's focus on humans. So, our territory is our space, our private space sometimes. But this is the space we need, the space which is natural to us. And that's a little bit different from person to person. One person needs a little bit more space as the other person. You know, when you work with somebody and you do partner work or you have a session, you give a session, you know, you need a certain space between you and the other person. If the other person is too close, it feels invaded. If the other person is too far away, it's difficult to really kind of come to togetherness. And this is a little bit a reflection of the personal space we need. And this differs a little bit from person to person. So when we look to this non-dual quality territory connected with our space, it seems that most of us are quite wounded in this. Because why do we need space? So in the first place, we need space to be. So if our space to be is invaded, either we kind of start to express more aggressive because we need to conquer our space. And to conquer our space means that we kind of need to express with force. And it becomes very difficult to listen to other people. It becomes very difficult to come to a dialogue. It's all about me, being seen, being acknowledged, affirmed that I'm right. And in this, we can be like an elephant, moving over other people without really connecting, because it's all about our space. We need the space we have. So the whole area of territory is deeply wounded. And what I said, you know, of course, expression so much is connected with listening. And expression is about giving form. So we need space to give form to our thoughts, to our feelings and emotions, to our qualities, and to our talents. So if we look inside ourselves, it's so often that we don't feel heard. We don't feel understood. We don't feel seen. And then we can kind of react on it and saying, okay, you know, I give up all the space. I get silent. I take no space at all. It's better not to give space. It's better to let go of your natural territory. It's invaded. So to give up means that you, in a way, want to be invisible. You want to disappear. And so often, on the background, deep fears. Or we start to bully. We start to express with force, with aggression. But again, togetherness and a dialogue is not possible. It's like we have to conquer the space. We have to fight for it. There is no space for us. And this is not only for individuals, but sometimes we see the same thing in countries, in our leaders. The same woundedness in the non-dual quality of territory. So why do we need space? Why is it so important for us to express, to be able kind of, to share our thoughts, to give form to our feelings, to give form to our qualities and talents? Because, if we freely are able to express, to give form to our qualities and our talents, it gives a feeling of purpose. It gives a feeling of fulfillment. It gives a feeling that we are allowed to be. When there is an invasion of our space, the whole state of being is contracted or is hurt. Also, it's so important to express ourselves because, by expressing, it's not only that the other person is seeing us and hearing us and understanding us, maybe, but we see the expression of ourselves. We hear the expression of ourselves. We come to deeper understanding. We can learn something like mathematics, but the moment we kind of, give space to what we learned by expressing it, by kind of trying to tell another person, like your parents, what you just learned about mathematics, it immediately is moving to a deeper understanding. It's moving to a level that you don't forget what you learned so easily anymore. So expression is also so important, and this space to express, to integrate what you have learned, to integrate what you understand. And of course, when we are very badly hurt, when there was a very little space, then we have a tendency to kind of to start to dictate our truth, to dictate our feelings, to dictate our thoughts. You have to feel like I'm feeling. You have to have the same emotion as I have. You have to have the same thoughts as I have. Other thoughts are not possible. So we become either intolerant towards others, or we are too tolerant. We just let everything in. We just is no resistance, no space needed. I'm the one who is absorbing everything. So, and of course, when we look into this, so easily we move into a whole area of victim and perpetrator. When we invade the space of another person, the other person feels perpetrated. And the other person either kind of falls silent, doesn't know what to do anymore, doesn't know how to express anymore, or starts a fight. That's partly why it is so important in a dialogue where we give each other space to listen to each other, to let the other person express whatever the other person needs to express, and to express yourself whatever you need to express. So you come to a mutual understanding. Otherwise, an understanding is not possible if you're not able to listen to each other. In a discussion, which is a fight around space, around territory, it's about who is right and who is wrong. It's a fight. So you discuss about who has the right idea, who has the right feeling, who has the right emotion. And this you see so often. That we kind of, tell other people what they have to feel, or there's told to us what we have to feel, how we have to experience something, what the reality is. We dictate reality to each other. And of course, when we dictate to another person what he has to feel, how he has to react, is incredibly damaging. Because you take away the space of the person to experience life as the person is experiencing life. You're telling the other person what you're feeling, what you are experiencing is not right. You should be angry. You should be fearful. You should be loving. You should be friendly. That's how it is. And partly we are all brought up like this, how we should behave, what we should feel. Uncle Charles is a very friendly guy. You should love him. You should give him a hug. And what you feel is run away, hide, be under the table. Never touch this guy. It's just one example. We should be polite. And what is being polite? Of course, that's saying, yes, madam, yes, sir, speak with two words. But also, being polite is to listen and not to express. Because if we express too much and we express what we're feeling or what we're thinking, we're taking too much space. And that's not very polite. When you're polite, you give space. You don't take space. And that brings us to a position where a lot of us have the feeling that there is no space for us. We have no space. That we cannot be ourselves. We cannot be natural. We have to adjust. So you see that this non-dual quality of territory is so much connected also with the quality of belonging, the quality of being. To be able to be, we need a space. To be able to belong, we need space. And our space needs to be acknowledged to belong. So that brings us also in the whole area, when we are invaded by another person or we feel invaded by another person. This feels like a rejection. It feels that we have no space to exist. It's breaking something in us. We feel humiliated. We feel not seen as a worthy human being. So the whole thing of esteem comes forward as well and is connected with it. And if the pressure is high enough, we become enraged when our personal space, our private space, our territory, our body, which is part of our territory, is invaded. It becomes very unsafe. And when it's unsafe, we get fearful. To make it safe, to get our space back, to get our territory back, we become aggressive. We become angry. We start to fight to conquer our space back again. Or the fear is so strong, and sometimes because, you know, also the space to be angry, to put a border, to protect your territory, to protect your body is taken away. There is no space to be angry. And of course, then the fear, which is on the background of the anger as well, is coming forward even more strong. So we get fearful to express. We freeze. We avoid. We run away. We become antisocial. We have the tendency to isolate ourselves. So again, how to come out of this? This kind of invasion of our private space, of the integrity of our body, and the space to express, to be, is incredibly deeply wounding. And it kind of, has such an influence on our personality, on how we are able to give form to ourselves. So the first thing is to really kind of move back to the feeling, okay, what do I need as space? What is my private space? What is my territory? And to start to center in this. And then slowly overcome the fears by starting to express, by starting to listen. Because sometimes there is only expressing and no listening. And sometimes there's only listening and no expressing. And again, this is not easy. So, especially because we live in a world where there is on a daily basis in interhuman connections this constant fight, this fight around space, in meetings we have with people, between brothers and sisters, in the neighborhood where we're living. It's endless. The solution for this woundedness, for sure, is not in conquering your space. Although we all do this when we are violated in our space and we are not allowed to be angry and not allowed to be borders, at a certain moment we start to put borders as a process of healing. And how the borders are coming out is quite aggressive, quite strong, not that friendly. And partly because there's such a rage behind it. So we have to conquer again our own territory, the space to be. And sometimes this conquering of the space becomes too strong, in which we don't see the other anymore. It's not about putting your borders, but it becomes about the borders of the other who has no right to exist. The only way to get your space is if nobody else has any space around you. And this is where we start to bully. We cannot feel safe when any other person is taking space. We need to have all the space. We need to have all the space because then maybe we get the affirmation we need. Because basically what's happening there is that we are becoming dependent on others to tell us you are okay. You can take the territory, the space you need. So by taking all the space, what we hope is that we get this affirmation, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. And also that doesn't help. because it's never okay enough. The dependency on the opinion of others or the affirmation of others is taking away territory from ourselves, is taking away space. When we move to our natural territory, it's just a territory to be as you are. This never, never is interfering with the space of others. Territories can overlap, like the territories of dogs are overlapping. They pee, put their territory, another person, dog is coming in the territory, pees there as well. They sniff each other's pees, they recognize each other, they overlap. It's not a problem at all. They all have their own space within the space of others, their own walk. The same is with human beings. We can have all the space we need, all the territory we need within interfering with the territory of others. So when we wounded, when our private space is invaded, then it becomes an either or. Either I can have space or you can have space. We cannot share space. And of course, this is leading to war. War between neighbors, in families, between countries. So it is a very, very important non-dual quality, which, sadly enough, we are all so wounded in. And again, to recognize this quality, to feel the natural amount of space you need, where you feel okay and where you don't feel okay. What is the right space for you to investigate this? Is incredibly healing. So, a way of doing this, done by the North American Indians I lived with for a period, was that you kind of go into the forest and you look for a place where it feels totally okay for you to sit down. And you sit there for a period just to feel your own space in the right place. To come into a room and to take some time to feel, okay, what is the right place for me? Where do I feel nice in this space? To be a little bit more conscious about this can be really healing and really helpful. Because if we find the right place, it's much more easy to take our space. And what is also really helpful is to learn to listen to each other, to express and to listen. Okay, I leave it like this. We have a little break And after the break, the 5 minute break, Georgie will give a beautiful, conquering, guided meditation about territory. Okay.
Hey. So it's lovely to see you all. And we're coming back. Are we muted? No. Good. So the non-dual territory in us greets the non-dual territory in you. So let's find a position where it's comfortable to meditate. Find a place, you find your space. And of course, part of that is finding a position in which it's easy to relax the body, where the body feels safe and supported. And just as we might think that's physical, we might also notice that there's also an agreement to open up to safety and support as a field of sensation, to give space for that, for those sensations of support and safety. Even if it feels unsafe to be safe, allowing the safety anyway. Even if it feels unsupported, to allow the support that is here now as we take this movement inside. As we sit to meditate, often our attention comes to our breathing. Let that in-breath breathe you inside. Follow the inhalation and let it bring you inside to that inner universe. And with the exhalation, just let yourself release anything which wants to release now. And just as you're moving inside, perhaps you can also notice for a moment the space outside. Allowing yourself also to be alive and feeling the atmosphere of the space outside. Just notice how lovely it is to relax into that spaciousness outside of the body, unconfined by any restrictions or sensations. Expanding outward, being anywhere you like now. And how easy it is then to open up the attention now to the space inside, which could be equally free. or more so. This lovely space inside. How easy it is then to feel the same space outside the body, around you. All the space. And with the inhalation, turn towards that vast space inside again. Let yourself move a little like this, inside and outside, until it's not sure anymore which is which. The sense of your being inside, and the sense of your being outside. And somewhere in the middle, also there. Just let yourself relax into that space where inside becomes outside and outside becomes inside. Sensing the atmosphere there. Expanding the atmosphere there. Letting that area begin to dissolve now. It's beginning to dissolve. And as it does, you could become aware of your own presence, your own being, right here, right now, meditating on Zoom. The atmosphere of your being here now. This timeless one who's always here now as you. Just make some space to allow that subtle vibration of your own presence, your own being here in this moment. The atmosphere of you, this timeless atmosphere of you. You were to allow this presence of you to sink down into the body, to take on the vibrations of this earth. What would be the ground of your being where would you locate or find the ground of your being here now as a sensation? Where is this atmosphere the strongest for you, inside the body or around the body? The ground of your being, the ground of your sentient awareness, the substance of your being here now. When you found a place where it's easy to open up to this ground of being, this intimacy of your own presence, this soft familiarity of yourself, allow it to spill over, to begin to expand, allowing yourself to be wherever you are aware. Allowing this ground of being, this presence of you to be wherever you are. We're allowing the ground of our own being to be free, like the air, wherever we are aware. The soft, subtle presence of your own being, the subtle ground of being, is wherever you're aware. As fine as the air. Whenever you need, find a place in the physical body which you call the ground of being, where it's possible to allow yourself to be aware everywhere. Noticing your presence, the territory of the ground of your own being, intimately aware wherever you are aware. You like, you can say, here I am. This is me. I'm the one that's aware. Always. Here now. Present. Notice how the body transmits this sense of your own being here now. Notice how as you relax, the body is transmitting waves of your own presence. That intimate flavor of you. Familiar perfume of your own awareness. Wherever you are aware. Perhaps you can let that awareness relax even into the awareness of the earth. The earth's awareness. The awareness that's here all around the earth, whether or not we notice it now. Letting it expand, becoming freer and purer and more refined. Now I'd like you to connect to your physical hands, the sensations in your physical hands and in your physical feet. If you like, you can squeeze them or wiggle them a little bit. And as you do this, bring to mind a memory of a time where there was a violation, where you felt violated or invaded. We're recalling a memory where we felt invaded. As you picture that scene or recall those sounds, connect also to the atmosphere. Notice how the body is responding to the sense of violation. Notice how you notice the invasion. If this invasion had a sound, what sound would that make? Perhaps you can connect to the territory where that sound is heard, the area where this sound is echoing. Wherever possible, let your body relax to allow the experience of this invasion to move right through you. And you connect to the territory, the ground of being right here, right now. Even as this invasion is happening. Can you release the invasion and invest in the ground of your presence being here right now, wherever you're aware? Even as the suffering of this invasion is happening. Maybe you can notice how you are here as your presence, timelessly, boundlessly aware. Beneath any invasion or movement or exchange or shadow conversation. Let the earth hold your presence now, the ground of your being. And let the open sky be filled with your presence now. The open air of your being here now, wherever you are aware. Before, beneath, above, behind, and after any invasion, notice your presence here now. And let it be boundless. And when you're ready, let yourself come back to that position in the body where you sense the ground of your being here now. Finding that throne within yourself, where you can easily be here now. And now I'd like you to connect with the energy of conquest, a memory where you felt you were conquering another. When you felt the energy of conquest. Just connect with that movement, that flavor of where you were going to and what you were needing to achieve. And if that conquest had a sound, what sound would it make? Can you connect with the one that is hearing that sound? Can you connect to the other where the sound of conquest is heard? Now, let yourself open up to the deeper sense of the ground of your own being, the territory of your own true nature, which is alive as awareness before, between, beneath, above, behind any of this movement. We're opening up to the simplicity of the ground of your own being here now. The presence of your timeless awareness. Diffusing and merging with the awareness of the whole earth now. Letting our awareness become one with the awareness of the trees and the plants and the mountains and the oceans, and the clouds, and the endless sky. We let ourselves gently dissolve into the territory of this or any other experience. As we're coming back to the here and now, we say goodbye at this moment to the people watching us on YouTube. I hope that you're watching us on YouTube. I'm seeing strange messages here. Well, if you're not watching us, you don't know it, do you? Anyway, for now, we will say goodbye and we hope that everything goes smoothly next time. And thank you for joining us.